I've only wanted to be a Raider, and I told my agent, I said, I'm either going to be a Raider or I'm going to be playing golf. Like, I don't want to play anywhere else. You know, that's how much this place means to me, and I know I don't get really fired up talking about it or anything like that, but I hope people can hear my heart on that I was dead serious when I meant that. And so, you know, I had 1 year left on my contract. If it was 1 year, it was going to be 1 year, you know. Thankfully it'll be 4 more.
Golf will have to wait for now, as Carr will earn just over $35 million a year over those 4 years. That's 7th in the NFL, with Rodgers leading the way, over $50 million a year. Let's bring in Charles Davis, who by my unofficial count called more Raiders games than any national analyst last season. We call him Vegas Davis for a reason here at CBS Sports HQ. What do you think of the deal for Derek Carr?
Number one, ecstatic for Derek Carr, okay? And that means if I ever go to dinner, I know who's buying, so that part is good. But this is an extension that now, Chris, we got to bring in a few years of history for Derek Carr about why this is so important. Because how many years in a row would people like you and me go into a season and hear the rumblings and have to have the discussion, are the Raiders really committed to Derek Carr as their quarterback? We've heard it for a long time. This year, he gets a brand new head coach in Josh McDaniels, brand new GM in Dave Ziegler. They're getting with him for the first time. He hadn't played it down for them, and now the commitment is there. He is truly their QB1, and he earned it over the years. I know it's only been twice they've gone to the playoffs with him as the quarterback. The first time he got hurt and couldn't even play in the playoffs, and they got beat with Connor Cook, their third-string quarterback, against Houston. But this past year, it carried him to the playoffs, played during that time frame, won a huge game the last week of the regular season against the Chargers to get there. But how about how he helped hold that team together, showing the leadership he had to show during the controversies they had and the issues they had. John Gruden with the head coach as their head coach, now out. The tragedy that Henry Ruggs caused. Right on down the line, the other issues that team had with a couple of other guys getting in trouble. Derek Carr held that all together, rallied that team around him, played to a really high standard. He feels deserving to me of this extension. And I do think, Chris, that Deshaun Watson's contract is going to help a lot of people now, especially when I hear a no trade clause in there for Derek Carr.
Yeah, no trade clause, which should keep him there through the 25 season, but we know how contracts work. Every now and then you can lop a year or two off if the team wants to. But for the next couple of years, Derek Carr feeling safe, and I think that was a good point what you made. He was such a leader last season and definitely deserves this. And now he's got a new head coach in Josh McDaniels, offensive-minded, but he's got the big weapon now at wide receiver in Davante Adams. What is he going to do for him?
Oh, it's going to help so much because remember, Hunter Renfrow was tremendous and their connection is amazing, right? The things that they work on, Chris, we've got to go to practice next year, all right? If I get as many Raiders games this year as I did last year, meet me in Henderson and watch practice because that's when you see them work on so many extra things, all those extra movements that you see Hunter Renfrow put in there. But now Davante Adams actually opens things up even more for Hunter Renfrow. Even more for Darren Waller, because you have a true wide receiver one that you've got to devote a lot of attention to, and a wide receiver one that even if you double cover him, he still is going to find a way open. His footwork as good as any receivers in the NFL. In fact, pass rushers study Davante Adams' footwork off the line of scrimmage to try and gain tips for themselves about how to rush the passer with their footwork against offensive linemen. So he's going to open things up in a big way for this offense. And I think Josh Jacobs, the running back, will benefit as well. There should be better running lanes for him moving forward.
But they're in the AFC West. You got to play the Chiefs twice, the Chargers twice, the Broncos twice. And you're probably going to have to finish ahead of one of those teams to make the playoffs. How difficult is it going to be, despite the fact that they've bettered themselves, you would think, in the offseason so far? How difficult will it be for them not to win the division, but just to make the postseason?
Extremely difficult. Something about the West, isn't there, Chris? Because the NFC West we've talked about for the last few seasons maybe being the most difficult division in the NFL. Russell Wilson coming to Denver. I had a former general manager on the day that Russell Wilson, it was announced he was going to Denver, call me and say, hey, think about this. In that division now, you have 4 of the top 15 quarterbacks in the NFL 3 you probably put in the top 10, and the 4th is Derek Carr. He said, now think about trying to work your way through that division. And by the way, one thing he added, on a given week, Derek Carr may not be 4th. He may be higher than that. That's how tightly contested that division is with these quarterbacks leading them. There are no off weeks. Those 2 games against those other 3 teams are going to be brutal. It is going to be difficult to navigate, but they went to the playoffs last year under the most difficult circumstances. Brand new head coach, brand new GM, quarterback with a contract, Davante Adams. The Raiders are feeling like things are looking up as they go ahead and battle their foes out west.
Mathematically possible for all 4 to make the postseason, but extremely unlikely. The Raiders, though, doing their part to try to keep pace and maybe catch up with the rest of the pack in the AFC West. Derek Carr signs a big extension today. Charles Davis with us here on CBS Sports HQ. We've got the draft coming up 2 weeks from Thursday. The Raiders ended up winning 10 games last season. They've gone over their projected win total each of the last 3 seasons. This year, the highest win total from Vegas going into the season, 8.5. 9 wins might get you to the postseason. 10 probably will.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.